Write the following hyperbola in standard form. So you should have the formulas on the final. The standard form, I need to recognize first we have a positive x squared and a negative y squared term. That's what hyperbolas have, either a positive x squared negative y squared or a positive y squared negative x squared. So that makes this a hyperbola. The general form for that type of hyperbola you would look up and you get this. All right. In analyzing this, number one, complete x and y squares. And number two, equals 1 on right side. It's basically our two goals to get this equation into standard form. Okay, to begin with, to complete the squares on the x, we do need to have all the x terms together. And we then think about completing the squares on the y's, we have to have all the y squareds, the y terms together. And the term that we don't need to complete the square is the constant term. Just put that over on the right side. Part of completing the square is that you have to have a one coefficient of the squared term. So I need to factor out the 16 out of the x stuff and factor out the 49 out of the y stuff. Now factoring is dividing. If I divide by 16, I will just get x squared there. And if I divide this by 16, I'll get minus 2x. And that's good. We have some space because we'll need to add a number to complete the square. If I divide by negative 49 there, I just get y squared. And if I divide by negative 49 there, and we can check this, negative 96 divided by negative 49, positive 4y. Doesn't look like a 4. Let's try that again. All right. Next up, we take the coefficients and send them on a little ride. The ride is the divide by 2 and square it ride, which pops out the number we need to have to complete the square. So for the x, we need to have a 1. So I go in here and I add plus 1. However, this 1 is inside a parenthesis, so I've actually added 16 to the left side by adding that 1 there. I need to do the same thing on the right side, so I'm actually going to write it so it even looks the same. Plus 16 parenthesis and the 1. I need to add a 4 for the y. But what I've actually done is I've added a negative 49 times 4. So it might look like you're adding 1 on the left and something different on the right, but we're actually keeping this equation in balance by adding 16 to the left with the 1 inside and minus 196 on the left with a 4 inside, doing the exact same thing on the right. Okay, let's work the right side out. 964 plus 16 times 1 minus 49 times 4, 784. Something's slowing down my computer. Give me a moment. Not quite sure why it's, oh, that now it's responding. 784. Perfect. On the left side, we have now factored added the number to make the perfect square trinomial. And this is where it's nice to remember this pattern. The middle step of that two-step process is always how the factored square ends up being. So this y is going to be different color just so you can see, plus 2 squared. We have now completed the completing the square on the x and completing the square on the y goal. Check. And now we have to make equal 1 on the right side. To make equal 1 on the right side, I just need to divide by 784. And that fixes the equal 1. And now if we just look at the fraction 16 over 784, it reduces to 1 over 49. So this x minus 1 squared is over 49. And this one, by a similar fashion, is over 16. And we can check that. 49, fraction button, 784, same as 1 over 16. You can also figure out that 784 divided by 49 is 16. So you could just do this by reducing and getting that 16 down below. One way or the other, we have now completed the goal of writing in standard form. All right, I hope this helps.